The Great Kanto earthquake was a strong earthquake of magnitude 8.3 that occurred on September 1, 1923 in Japan. It was named after the Kanto region, which suffered the most damage. In the West, it is also called Tokyo or Yokohama because it almost completely destroyed Tokyo and Yokohama. The earthquake caused the deaths of several 100,000 people and caused significant material damage. In terms of the scale of destruction and the number of victims, this earthquake is the most devastating in the history of Japan. The earthquake began on September 1, 1923, before noon. Its epicenter was located 56 miles southwest of Tokyo in the sea near Izushima Island in Sagami Bay. In just 2 days, 356 tremors occurred, of which the first were the strongest. In Sagami Bay, due to a change in the position of the seabed, 12-meter tsunami waves rose, which devastated coastal settlements. In Yokohama, 40 miles from the epicenter, at least a fifth of the buildings were immediately destroyed as a result of the tremors. Fires started everywhere immediately, and the fire spread rapidly due to the strong winds. Gasoline spilled over the water was burning in the port. The flame reached 60 meters in height. Most of the firefighting equipment was destroyed at the very first tremors, which seriously limited the ability to contain fires. Please like this video and subscribe to this new channel, and you will see many more interesting and useful things on the Tokyo-Yokohama Railway. A train got off the track, hitting the twisted rails. In Tokyo, 56 miles from the epicenter, fewer buildings were destroyed than in Yokohama in percentage terms, but fires started everywhere, carried by strong winds, which caused the most damage. Fleeing from the tremors and fires, residents fled to open spaces, squares, parks, but this did not always help. About 40,000 people died in one of Tokyo's squares. They suffocated when the houses surrounding the square caught fire. Firefighting equipment survived, but the earthquake destroyed the city's water supply. In many cases, fire equipment could not pass through the narrow streets. Eventually, the tremors and fires destroyed about half of the buildings in the city. On September 2nd, the government of Japan was headed by Yamamoto Ganbei. He imposed martial law in the vicinity of Tokyo, declared an emergency mobilization, and, together with Interior Minister Goto Simpei, Finance Minister Inoue Junisuke, and Communications Minister Inakai Tsuyoshi, began rescue efforts. The first measures concerned the stabilization of economic life. On September 7th, the government imposed a 30-day moratorium on the payment of debts and interest on loans, and issued a decree prohibiting high interest rates in banks and loan sharks. On September 11th, the imperial rescript abolished the tax on rice imports, and on September 12th, the tax on essential goods, building materials, and appliances. On September 22nd, a temporary humanitarian aid system was installed in the country, and a special payment system for trade transactions was introduced. On September 27th, the government began issuing money and promissory notes to the victims through the National Bank of Japan to rebuild homes. Initially, the total amount of bills was 10 million yen, but in just 1924 it exceeded 43 million. This caused the depreciation of the Japanese currency and inflation, which led to the insolvency of the population and the inability to repay debts to the state. As a result, the country was hit by a financial crisis in 1927. The government also tried to revive the commercial life of the capital at the expense of foreign capital, which, however, caused a sharp increase in public debt. On the other hand, an imperial decree on the revival of the imperial capital was issued on September 12th to ensure public order. 7 days later, a restoration council was formed, which developed a plan for the restoration of Tokyo and Yokohama. He was finally accepted on December 24. The earthquake covered an area of about 56,000 square kilometers. The main devastating impact occurred in the southeastern part of Kanto province. As a result of the earthquake and subsequent fires, Tokyo, Yokohama, Yokosuka and 8 other smaller cities were almost destroyed. In Tokyo, over 300,000 buildings out of 1 million were destroyed by fire alone. In Yokohama, 11,000 buildings were destroyed by tremors and another 59,000 burned down. Another 11 cities were less seriously affected. Of the 675 bridges, 360 were destroyed by fire. Tokyo lost all its stone buildings. The Orthodox Resurrection Cathedral, built by Bishop Nicholas in 1891, was also destroyed. Only the Imperial Hotel, built the year before by Frank Lloyd Wright, survived. This hotel was Japan's first earthquake-resistant stone building, The official death toll is 142,800, including 40,000 who are missing, and over a million are homeless. The total number of victims was about 4 million. The material damage suffered by Japan from the Kanto earthquake is estimated at $4.5 billion, which at that time was 2 times the country's annual budget and 5 times the cost of Japan in the Russian-Japanese War. After the earthquake, rumors began to spread about a riot, sabotage of ethnic Koreans, and wells poisoned by Koreans, which led to the ethnic pogrom of Koreans known as the Kanto Massacre. According to independent sources, the death toll is estimated at between 6,000 and 10,000 people. Amid the confusion after the earthquake, the Japanese government, using the army and police, launched political repression under the pretext of civil unrest. Socialist Hirasawa Keishichi, anarchist Sakayo Sugi, anarchist and feminist No Ito, and Chinese community leader Oh Kaiden were abducted and killed by the Japanese army and police. The government was considering the possibility of moving the capital of Japan. Keijo was named as one of the variants. The Great Kanto earthquake occurred during the crisis in Japan. It was accompanied by the confrontation of various political parties and the ideological polarization of Japanese society, which was a consequence of the liberal course of Taisho democracy. In the international arena, Japan was losing credibility due to the growing anti-Japanese sentiment in Korea and China, as well as attempts by the United Kingdom and the United States to limit Japan's presence in the Pacific region. In such circumstances, the Great Kanto earthquake was not only a simple natural disaster, but also an important factor that determined Japan's future policy and socio-economic development.